Asiatic, yeah. Hebrew Israelite, yeah. Afro Asiatic, yeah. Of Shemitic descent, yeah. Uzi Yahoo, yeah.
Shalom, shalom, Kulam. Shalom, shalom, Mishpachah. Shalom, family. This is Uzi Yahoo, Ben Yehuda, founder and creator of Afro Asiatic Hebrew. And what you may also know, Afro Asiatic Hebrew Israelite of Shemitic descent. I just want to say Shalom Aleichem and peace to you all. It's been a while since I've done a video. So I just wanted to kind of check back in with you. It's been some months. It's been a while. Also, I wanted to let you know when it's my 2-year anniversary of me being inspired to put together Afro Asiatic Hebrew, aka also Afro Asiatic Hebrew Israelite of Shemitic descent. May would be my 2-year anniversary, my 2nd year anniversary, because I started it in May of 2015, and so I'm here today. I have, I've grown since then. I've come across some things since then, so I will be having some things up and coming. I'm kind of working on trying to get having some things more organized. Some things I will be working on will be it will be Hebrew pictograph, Revelation with Uzi Yahoo. So I'll be doing that. I'll also be doing biblical relationship dynamics. I'll be doing biblical psychology. Excuse me. And I'll be doing Hebrew manic polygyny for the glory of Yah and not the vanity of man and woman. Excuse me. And I'll be doing real talk with Uzi Yahoo, where I'll just talk about different issues, and it don't have to be always scriptural. But that's kind of like, I don't want to say my counseling, because I have a background in psychology. I only have my bachelor's, but it's just a way where we can discuss things, because it says faith comes by hearing, and we know life and death is in the tongue. So if we speak on issues and we try to get to the solutions, and we edify each other, encourage each other, have positive reinforcement, that will take us a long way. But anyway, I just want to speak a little bit of, since it's right now it's on my 2nd year anniversary, but since I've been doing this for 2 years, been focusing on this area, this path, I just want to kind of do a little recap why I started Afro Asiatic Hebrew, and also Afro Asiatic Hebrew Israelite of Shemitic descent. So it was some time ago, but it came to fruition in May 2015. I was inspired because I used to go to the different college campuses, and I recognized and realized that we had services for those who was like Pan-African, African, African American, Christian, Muslim, Jewish, but I didn't see anything represented for Hebrew, for Afro Asiatic Hebrew, for Hebrew Israelites. And it was a lack of awareness. When a lot of situations would come up, a lot of discrimination, there was no justice, there was no concern. And we didn't have a voice, we didn't have anything. And so I actually tried to I wanted to try to set up a student association at some of the colleges, but because I'm an alumni for University of Minnesota Duluth, and I wasn't a current student at the U, and I wasn't a student at Augsburg, I couldn't form my own student association, and I needed like 5 students at the university who would agree, who would agree to do it, and I couldn't find anyone. I spoke to certain people. They said, "Oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea," but it never went through, or we never stuck with it, so it didn't go through. But anyway, I was inspired because there was nothing, there was no voice, there was no space, there was nothing that existed with this. So I said, you know what, let me try something. And since all the doors was closing at the university, I said, you know what, I'll just take it to Facebook. I'll take it online. I'll take it where I go. So I just created a Facebook group, and that's where it started. And I just started loading material in the Facebook group. Excuse me. And then it started taking off. And then I tried to do a little bit more studies on it. And I said, you know what? This has to be a lifestyle. It's bigger than just a student association. It's another paradigm, because a lot of people, when they hear about Hebrew Israelites, they hear about Hebrews on the street corners, they hear about Hebrews on YouTube and all these different other avenues and sources. And sometimes when they hear Hebrew Israelite, they might hear a negative connotation, or they may heard this story or this and that. So I said, well, you know what? I looked at a definition when I looked up Hebrew, and it said Afro Asiatic language. And so with that, I was like, wow, Hebrew. When I looked at the definition of Hebrew, and it said Afro Asiatic languages, I was like, well, hold on. Then that means you have the Afro Asiatic language, you have the Afro Asiatic people, and you will have these Afro Asiatic locations. So I said, you know what? Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? Instead of just calling myself Hebrew Israelite, or they like to coin Black Hebrew Israelite. I'm like, well, when I say, a lot of people know about, when you hear Afro Asiatic, you know that these were melanated people. So I don't have to say Black. And plus, for those who may have come across the definition of Hebrew and they've seen Afro Asiatic, that's something that they can look at as a reference. Now, was the ancient people called Hebrew Israelites? No. In the scripture, you will see a lot of times, you'll see the children of Israel, or B'nai Yisrael. B'nai means children, and Yisrael is Israel. So B'nai Yisrael is the children of Israel. And so you'll hear me say Afro-Asiatic Hebrew, Afro-Asiatic Hebrew Israelite, Afro-Asiatic Hebrew Israelite, Afro-Asiatic Hebrew Israelite of Shemitic descent. And then you also hear me say B'nai Israel. So when I was looking at Afro-Asiatic, I seen that there was about 5 or 6 categories. But what was interesting when I looked at the Semitic, or more correctly, Shemitic, because Sem, when we retrace, when we go back to Noah's 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, which these would be the 3 sons that most of the world will kind of come from, either Hamitic, Shemitic, or Japheth descent. So we, we discovered that the Hebrews are actually Shemitic people, but they were melanated nations as well, like the ancient Sumerians, the ancient Babylonians, the ancient Midianites, Ishmaelites, Edomites, and the Israelites. So basically, we're letting people know that we're Afro-Asiatic, which means we're melanated. And we do, well, I'll say like this. I can't speak for all Hebrew Israelite camps, congregations. I have no problem if Hebrews are in camps or congregations or have whatever. I'm not in one. So I show love I know people who are in camps, congregations as well. I love them. I respect them. I know brothers and sisters who are on the corners. I know brothers and sisters who are on YouTube. I just want to say to the listening audience, don't let a couple of examples, don't let a couple of examples make it seem as if everybody is negative. No, that's not the case. So I respect those who may not be a part of any camps or congregations or whatever. I don't view them as evil. And I don't, even though I'm not in a camp, I don't hate those who are in camps, congregations, because everyone has their job, everyone has their duty. And if we're all working together for the common kingdom of Yah, to let people know, to expose people to the Zedekiah, which is the righteousness, all that's another paradigm that's a part of Afro Asiatic Hebrew, is Zedekiah. And Zedekiah, I will focus on the lifestyle. That Israel is a nation, not a religion. We have a righteous lifestyle. Okay. Yeah. So it's not to throw any shade to anyone, but I don't speak for these other different Hebrew paradigms camps, and they don't speak for me either. So I only speak for Afro Asiatic Hebrew, Afro Asiatic Hebrew Israelites, Afro Asiatic Hebrew Israelite of Shemitic descent. Anything B'nai Israel, that's another paradigm that I have. I only speak for the brands and the things that I bring forth to educate the people. So I came up with Afro Asiatic Hebrew it will be something that the general public, they can look at something, and I don't want it to be tainted. I don't want it to be negative. I'm trying to be positive. I'm trying to be a righteous Zedekiah ambassador. I don't hate the nations. I don't hate Africans. I don't hate Hebrews in camps on the corner. I just state that all of us, we have a responsibility to be a light to the world, to the nations, and for us to represent in our speech, our body, our speech, our respect, and our positive choices. I also wanted that to be known that Afro Asiatic Hebrew Israelite of Shemitic descent, we are what you call Shemitic Africans. We believe that the Middle East used to be a part of Africa before the Suez Canal. So we're not anti-African. We're not anti-Kemet, because in the scriptures, it tells us not to hate an Egyptian or Kemet, or and not to hate an Edomite. So I don't hate Edomites, and I don't hate Africans or Egyptians. We believe that the Middle East was a part of Africa. Also, if you look at the tectonic plate, the African tectonic plate, that Israel is on the African tectonic plate, which means that we are part of that continent. We also believe that in the book of Bereshit, Genesis, when it starts, the location of Adam and Eve is giving you different rivers and different locations where it's covering, both sides of the Nile up to, from the river Euphrates to the river Nile. So it's talking about locations like Ethiopia, Egypt, Assyria, Mesopotamia, Iraq, Babylon, Sumeria, those areas. So we know that civilization started in those areas. And those areas is considered like Afro-Asiatic areas. So we believe that we are Northeast Africans, that Israel is considered Africa, is on the African tectonic plate. But we're Shemitic Africans. So you have Hamitic Africans, you got Shemitic Africans. And there's been a relationship between Ham and Shem on the continent. You had in Hebrew, in history, we had relations with the Cushites, or as they say, the Hamitic Ethiopians, the Egyptians, the Canaanites, so Midianites, But my whole point is, oh yeah, I just wanted to show you before the tape go off. I just wanted to show you. I focus on Hebrew, Tigrinya, Amharic, and Arabic. So you will be seeing me dealing with these languages. And so that was just a brief introduction. I want to say shalom. Much love to everyone. Shalom, shalom.
Afro Asiatic, I'm Afro Asiatic, yeah. Hebrew Israelite, Shemitic, she's Afro Asiatic, I'm Afro Asiatic, yeah. Southern, I am Central, but we still have the